So we've decided that we can add text, we can add CSS file to the project. That way we can actually have stylized text. But what about other stuff? What about some maybe some images, and more importantly, maybe some links would also be important. So we'll deal with images and links in this this particular video. You'll see, super easy. As most things with Dreamweaver, you can get to it with just a couple of clicks. If I want to add an image, let's say, to this section of my site, I can just go Insert, and then Image. And here we go. I can go into my Images folder. Now, any image you're going to use in your site, be sure to put it in the Images folder. That way you keep everything nice and neat and compact. Otherwise, when links start getting out of hand and you start moving files around, Dreamweaver may not be able to track where you've moved your images. So it's good practice. Put all your images in the Images folder inside your root folder before you use them. That way there's no linking issues. So I'm going to hit click there, and let's say I want to add this lovely photo of a cat that I found. A little dialog box comes up and you have a little bit of information. Alternate text, that's text that comes up in the case that the user can't see the image. So if it's slow to load, someone's on dial-up, and it just describes what it is. So crazy cat would be my description of this particular image. So if I click OK, bang, there we go. There's my cat. So there's my image with the cat on it. Now, if I want to preview this, which is sometimes useful, right? Preview this website in such a way that I can see, what's this actually going to look like on the web, rather than, in the context of Dreamweaver with all this other stuff going on. So to preview, it's this little button right here, this little world. Click on that and then select your browser. I've got a couple of browsers installed, but my preferred one is Firefox, so I'll click Firefox. And now it's just going to, but not save them now. Yeah, often you'll get a dialog saying, hey, you didn't save this part or that part of your site. Always good practice. Make sure you're saving a lot. So in my case, I forgot to save something, so I will save. And so now, here we go. There's the preview of my site in my browser. So this is what I've got so far. So based on the other tutorials that we've done, we put in this content. My small gray text is there. My underlined big gray text is there. And now finally my cat. Now watch what happens when I cursor over the cat. Nothing, apparently. Okay, I have to go check my alt text. Generally speaking, when you have alternative text that you place inside of it, when you cursor over and leave it, you should get that to pop up. So I have a problem, but that's okay. No big deal. So yeah, so that's how we add the images. So really easy. The next part is the links. Now, when you're adding links, you evidently need somewhere to link to. So let's say I wanted to have my Hello World link to a web page in my site that was called Hello World. Well, the first thing I need to have is actually that web page created. That way I can link to it. So how do we create any new pages? Well, the same as always. We'll go File, New, go from a blank page, and I'll pick HTML, because HTML is just a standard web page. That's where we create the stuff. So I'll hit Create, and now we're back to this blank page. Remembering what we did before, we can retitle this page. Now we were going to call it Hello World, because that was what we're going to add into this page. Maybe I can add a little bit of text. Hello World. I'll center it using my properties panel down here, and maybe I'd like to make this my underlined gray text. Now notice down here I don't have access to that. The reason for that is that I haven't attached that style sheet to this particular page. You have to attach them to every page as you create them. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go Attach Style Sheet. I'm going to browse to my CSS file, the one I created for my index page, because that has all my text styles in it. I still want to use that on my other pages. So when I click Choose, click OK, now I have access to those styles. So if I highlight my Hello World, I click down here now, I have access to the styles that I created in that previous style sheet. So I'll click my large gray underline, and there we go. So my Hello World now looks the same as my text in the previous page and my index page, because I can use my CSS sheet. So that's how CSS is kind of neat, because you can kind of bring your styles from other pages into these pages, and everything looks nice and coherent, and you end up with nice looking pages. The only thing I haven't done, I haven't saved, so I'm going to save this. I'm going to save it in my root folder so that you see my index.html is still there. So I'm going to save this one, hello world.html. So that's now going to save in the same place as my index. So you'll notice here I've now got hello world and index. Both HTML pages are residing in my root folder. So I've saved this, so that's great. I'm going to go back to index.html, and I want to create a link. I want this hello world to become a link to my other page. So I'm going to highlight it, and then down in the properties box there's a link window. In this link window we'll click this. This is the browse for file, because that file resides on my in my root folder. So I'll click that, and now we see here hello world exists in my root folder because I just saved it, right? Hit choose, and there you go. You'll notice this changed colors because links are different colors, and I can show you how to change the color, the default color of links in a later video. But for now, this is now a link, and it links to my other page. Now if I click on the words here, you'll notice in the link window it tells me where it's going to go. Well, it's going to go to helloworld.html. It's going to open that page. If you wanted it to link to a web page, let's say Google, Wikipedia, YouTube, whatever it is, maybe even a video on YouTube, you would just get the web link, the URL of that particular online resource or online video, and you would put it into this space here. You would just paste it in there, and then that link from your website will direct your viewer to that other place on the internet. So that's another way of doing it as well. So if I have my hello world here, let me save that. So I'll go File, Save. So now this is saved, and if I go and preview in Firefox, I've now got that same web page that I've been working on, and this is now, see how the rollover becomes a link? I can click that and it takes me to my hello world page. So there's a simple way of doing links. The only other thing I'd like to show you before you start messing around with the program and starting to create what you outlined in your sitemap as kind of practice before we get into the portfolio project is how to create a table. A table is sometimes useful. I'll kind of leave it at that until later on, and I'll show you a few tricks with tables. But if you want to create a table, you go Insert, Table, or Table Objects. Usually just go Table. And then you can select, well, how many rows, how many columns. If I just left it at the default, let's say 2 columns. So here we go, I've got 2 columns and I've got 5 rows. So just like in Word, you can input stuff in there. If you select the outside of your table, you can actually go into Align Center, and that'll center it in the page too if that's something that you want to be doing. If you want it to the left, that's great too. Depends what your site is looking like and what kind of visual impact you're trying to create. So now you can add text on the inside of there, add text on the inside of there, and away you go. You can create all kinds of stuff with tables. So that's the basics. So now you should go ahead and create your 8 pages that you had created originally in your sitemap. Save those HTML files and start adding content and adding links between them.